Get ready for University of Georgia basketball.
Hi again, everybody. So, University of Georgia Bulldogs basketball team went 3-0 this week with wins over Bellarmine, Maryland East Shore, and Morehead State. Their next game is against Georgia Tech Friday. Let's recap the week real quick. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to do this. They're like, "Well, you've recapped every game." I know I have, but let's recap it more in depth. Let's recap the week for Georgia basketball. So, Georgia won 104 to 59 over Bellarmine. It was a very weird game. The first 5 minutes or so, Bellarmine wasn't hitting Bellarmine was hitting stuff, and they were just going in. So then you start to get the feel like, this is gonna be like the Tennessee Tech game from last year. And then eventually Georgia got going. They started hitting shots. Georgia's defense was incredible to watch. And then Jake Wilkins with some incredible alley-oops. Softone had a incredible catch and dunk. Blue Kane had 15 points. Jeremiah Wilkerson had 15 points. Cannon Catches had 9 points. Santos Cerullo had 8 points. Jordan Ross had 7. Jake Wilkins with 12. Dylan James with 9. Smurf Molinder with 8. Justin Bailey with 8. Akeem Stagg with 8. Brandon Klasky with 5. And that was the scoring for Georgia. The highlight of this game for me was Jake Wilkins making his debut for Georgia and the Brandon Klasky three-pointer and then steal and lay in on the other possession. That was just terrific to watch. Brandon Klasky had worked very, very hard in the last 2 seasons to get this moment. Those were his first career points. And it was terrific to see. So at that point, you start the season 1-0, and you're like, okay, we're going to do our next game versus Maryland East Shore, and what a game it was. Georgia's defense holding Maryland East Shore to just under 30 to 29 points, and Georgia wins at 94 to 29 over Maryland East Shore. Blue Kane had 16, Cannon Catches had 14, Jeremiah Wilkerson had 12, Salto Cerullo had 9, Jordan Ross had 4, Jake Wilkins had 16, Akeem Stagg had 9, Dylan James with 4, absent with Dylan James with 5, absent with 4, Molinder with 3, Bailey with 2. Georgia, that's total 94 points. Completely dominating for Georgia. I mean, this was the most dominant Georgia basketball game they've had in a very, very long time. I mean, only allowing 29 points is just pretty incredible. Unfortunately, in this game, the free ball didn't drop for Georgia. They started out 0 for 16, and then finally, at the end, the Blue Kane hit one really, really late in the first half. They hit a buzzer beater to send it off to the first half. At that point, Georgia was 2 from 20. They still had not hit any threes late in the first half. They finally did, and then they ended 8 for 40 from 3. And that was a little worrisome, but I mean, basketball is a weird game. You're gonna make frees. You're gonna miss frees. It's just a very weird game. But the very next game versus Morehead State, the free ball was there and it was hot. Georgia went 9 from 20 from 3 in the first half, then 8 for 17 in the second half, and 17 from 37 from three-point land. Georgia's scoring looked like this. Blue Kane with 14, Cannon Catches with 14, Justin Bailey with 13, Jordan Ross with 5, Santos Cerullo with 5, Jeremiah Wilkerson with 22. How about that ankle? Apparently not hurting him at all. He played absolutely incredible. Jake Wilkins with 15, Smurf Molinder with 11, Akeem Stagg with 10, absent with 5, Dylan James with 3, and Brandon Klasky with 3. So Brandon Klasky once again hits a three-pointer. This game was a lot better. As I said, Georgia 9 for 20 from 3 in the first half, then 8 for 17 in the second half. They ended 17 for 37 from 3. Georgia, with I believe their biggest win since 1997 against, their most points scored since 1997 against Charleston Southern. what else do you want for the first week of basketball? Georgia is 3-0 with Georgia Tech looming on Friday. Georgia Tech will be Georgia's biggest challenge so far, but Georgia Tech looks really, really bad. They went to overtime with UMES, and we'll look at them because I'm not even sure what they've done after that game. I know they did win one game. So Georgia Tech is 2-0. That's right, they beat Bryant. So they beat Maryland East Shore 56-52 and then beat Bryant 74-45. They play SLU today at 9 o'clock. Georgia and Georgia Tech probably going to be a matchup between between two 3-0 teams. We'll have to preview either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. One of those 2 days or 3 days. We'll have to preview to that game. But Georgia basketball 3-0 after a great first week. Georgia, let's go to their second week with a big win over Georgia Tech. Let's go Hoop Dogs, ladies and gentlemen.
Dogs do the improbable, the unthinkable, the unbelievable. They beat Arkansas and go wire to win the SEC tournament.